Gator Baseball. These boys have been humping. Lost to Vandy in the SEC Championship. Not a big fan of how that format played out. I believe baseball is a series game. You can't have. I know it was double elimination, but it became single elimination at the end there. Not a huge fan of it. We're even going into it's double elimination, but it's a one-game series against Florida A&M coming up on Friday. But I'm going to pass it to the guys in all kinds of weather to talk a little bit more about that and kind of this historic run and what they think we can do moving forward. Gents?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the mantra for this year's team has to be Omaha or bust. I mean, after the last couple of seasons, the obvious disappointment of losing in your own regional 2 years in a row is something that the University of Florida baseball program is just not accustomed to. And this year's team has been the team that I think a lot of fans have been looking at and going, okay, they look special. They look like they could be that team. I mean, the Gators went to 4 straight College World Series, which is, for those who don't know, which is like the Elite Eight of baseball for 4 straight seasons from 15 to 18, and won a national championship in that stretch and made 2 other national semifinals. So that's kind of what the Gator baseball fan base is used to. This team right now that Florida has looks like the most complete, the best, and just the most dominant we've had since that stretch. So the hype is warranted, and I think it's very fair to say, especially with the draw that we got to the College World Series, anything less than that will absolutely be a disappointment. But we're not going to talk about the negative side of things. We're going to keep things positive here. I know that's what everyone's here for. So we'll talk positive. This team has a good chance to make the College World Series. I'll word it like that and give you guys some good vibes.
Chris?
Yeah, definitely. And I think just the fan base is hungry for some success in a major sport, right?
Sure.
I mean, unfortunately, Neil and I have talked about this. Football, basketball, it's obvious. Like, it's not where we want it to be right now. But, if baseball can, bring a national championship home, it certainly could give the fan base something to look forward to and be happy about and excited about. So, and just as the baseball season's gone on, as Neil said, we have just been completely dominant. This is a team that, even when we're down by several runs, we're never actually out of it. I mean, yeah. we spotted Vanderbilt a 10-piece in that semifinal game, and we actually cut the lead in half within a couple of innings. And if we would have had some more timely hitting, that game could have been interesting at the end. But I think the big key for this team, if they're going to make a deep run all the way to Omaha and even win a championship, the bullpen has got to be a little bit more consistent. This is a team that definitely has the ability to put double digits on the board every night, hitting the ball. But can they play defense? Can they pitch? Will the starters be consistent? And that was a strength of the 2017 team, where we had a really solid group. Guys like Fayedo, Singer, you had a Michael Byrne that could, throw the last 9 outs of a game. And that carried us all the way through and won us the national championship. And that team, we could hit the ball, but we were no near as elite as this team is in hitting. So I think the big key is making sure that if we're consistent, if we could keep teams under 5 runs a game, I don't see why anybody would be able to beat us.
And I think to speak to baseball and just in general, this is something I kind of speak about. My knowledge comes in a little bit to play here. Is I was going to mention that pitching is going to be the big key. When you get late into Omaha, you got guys that can crank it. Everyone at college at that point is hitting absolute dingers. I mean, those guys are stacked. So pitching is going to be a big factor. What people don't realize too, kind of just you're bypassing standard fan for baseball, is pitchers take a long time to develop. Even if they're dogs in college, they can go to the MLB and get absolutely roasted. It takes a long time to develop pitches, speed, consistency, all those things. So it could be very up and down. So they can look really good. The bats can be alive, but they can also give up 15 on the other side of the ball very quickly, just due to, again, that youth in pitching is definitely always going to be a factor. So love that you hear that, hey, notice that bullpen's going to be a big key. Once we obviously get past the regional round, it becomes a series game and not just it's double elimination. But winning one game that's brutal, man. Any team, especially with baseball, it's not like football. You got guys that if you got a team that can play baseball, you can upset someone pretty easily. It's kind of like basketball, like March Madness. It doesn't take much to get on a roll, especially in one game. That's what series are so important. I feel like a series is how best teams win. I've always hated the wild card. You love it, you hate it at the same time, depending on what side you're on. In baseball, because sometimes the best team doesn't necessarily win, they got it past you there, but they're not going to go any further because they're not built to win a series, and that's how baseball is. It's all around series. So I'm glad obviously the wild card has changed that. But yeah, Florida can't get kicked off this regional round here once again. But it should be exciting. I agree with you, Neil. Omaha or bust. I would love to see a big run here. Even though golf is on the verge of winning a national championship, it doesn't have the hype and the excitement as if baseball were to get that ball rolling. Where Florida football and basketball is headed, we could be on the upturn here, boys, on the upswing.
You gotta hope so. And that's the goal. I mean, that's always the goal of the Florida Gators, to always have every team compete for a championship. I mean, the UAA's very motto is championship experience with integrity. So, I mean, they don't hide from it. They don't make any bones about it. They don't sugarcoat it. They come right out and tell you, yeah, our goal is to compete for championships and win championships. So, I mean, I don't think I can remember a Gator baseball moment that I've been this excited for since that run in 15 through 18. I mean, there just hasn't been the sense of this Gator baseball program is this good. There hasn't been that feeling since that 17, 18 sort of back-to-back years there. I also think it's worth pointing out that Florida has a much more favorable draw this year, something I think maybe casual fans should take note of, because if you remember last year, yeah, Florida was the host. They were the number one seed in the regional. They drew an Oklahoma team that was really good, wound up making it to the College World Series finals. Oklahoma got snubbed out of a regional host spot. They were ranked number 9 in the country, and everyone thought they should have been one of those top 16 seeds. The top 16 seeds get to play regionals at home. The top 8, if you win your regional, you're guaranteed to host in the super regional, the 2 out of 3 format, which would be next weekend. Florida doesn't have a team like Oklahoma coming to Gainesville this year. UConn is, they have a good record. They actually are ranked number 9, just like Oklahoma is, but the difference is they've played a strength of schedule that's below 80 in the country. They didn't play a single game against a top 15 team in the country this year. Their toughest opponent was actually a mediocre Boston College team all year. So I don't really think that UConn compares to what Oklahoma was last year. Then they certainly haven't been as tested as that Oklahoma team was last year. So I understand the skepticism from some Gator fans after that Vanderbilt game, saying, "Oh, here we go again. This is not going to go well." Typical, postseason meltdown. I've seen all the comments from Twitter users, but this year's team is hashtag built different. I know, Sheldon. I know you've used that phrase before. This team has something special about it. So buckle up and get ready for a fun ride.